Now, here's Xiomara Galindo with today's studio guest, Deborah Rosado Shaw.
Deborah Rosado Shaw is the author of Dream Big. She is also the founder of Dream Big Enterprises and Umbrellas Plus. The company is a multi-million-dollar wholesaler and importer of fashion and sun accessories. Deborah, welcome to Making It. Thank you so much for being here today.
It's my pleasure, really.
Fascinating book. I loved it. First off, every entrepreneur dreams of that $1 million account.
Right.
How do they get it, though? What do they do? What are some things they can do?
Well, one of the things I know is that you have to play beyond the rules. So one of the reasons that I get to play in that game is that I found, here's the game, and here's what everybody says you're supposed to do. Now, what can I do to get to expand what's possible for me?
In your book, you discuss how to stop fighting fear and instead use that in a positive way as a tool. How does that work? I mean, interesting, stop fighting fear for everything, not just business, but for everyone all around.
Right. Well, I mean, I think if you're doing anything that's really challenging you, you're going to feel afraid. I mean, what you have to do is get really familiar with the sensation. You know, your knees are shaking, your palms are sweating, your heart might be palpitating, but that energy actually has you see new possibilities, see new things that you can do. So it's not about overcoming fear. You don't overcome fear. You get comfortable with the sensation.
And are there key steps that you would recommend to get over that hurdle?
Well, one of the things I say is don't open up on Broadway. You know, you should never go that big major pitch. Don't do it to the people that, you know, you really need to get that day. That's not where to try something out. Go to a small account and kind of run through it, accounts that you don't care about, relationships that aren't really that important to you, and kind of do the runs for yourself. So by the time you get there, you kind of have it in your system.
We hear this a lot. Take a leap of faith.
Oh,
I know what your answer is going to be.
Yes.
But you don't recommend that.
Absolutely not.
Why?
I think it's very dangerous. And when you hear people speaking that they have taken a leap of faith, it's usually not true. So if you look a little further, what you see is that they have done their homework. They have probably spoken to lots of people, if they're successful at it. If you see people have taken a leap of faith and they flop, then you know they didn't do their homework. But absolutely, you have got to, when you're going to sign your house and your family's livelihood about an idea that you have better get prepared.
You also talk about in your book, Dream Big, that people should dream big, but there are some times when they should quit pursuing some dreams. Why is that?
Well, I think you have to have a dream that speaks to you. And it might not speak to somebody else. I mean, when I was a little girl, my big dream was I wanted heat and hot water. I really, every day, if I could just have heat and hot water, I would be so thrilled. And then I traded up a different dream, a great school. I wanted to be an attorney. I never became an attorney. And then I started a business, and then I wanted to write a book. And you kind of trade up. But I think that if you don't have that dream that acts like a magnet in your life, then you can't move forward. But there are times. I applied to law school 11 times. And then I got it. You know what, Deborah? This dream is dead for you. You have to mourn it and grieve it and say, this one is done, now what am I going to do? Because if you don't clear up something that is dead and is over, you never give yourself the space to move on to something new. So I would never be the entrepreneur that I am today, never have written a book, never speak all around the world, if I hadn't been willing to say, this one is done.
And I have something else to go on to.
That's right.
How do people play beyond the rules and win? Explain that to me.
Well, I'll give you an example. My first job, I was a customer service clerk in a company, and I saw people selling, and I wanted to sell, and they wouldn't give me an opportunity. And so one day I decided I was going to impersonate a salesperson after I did all my homework, and I called on a major account in New York, and I sold it. On a sick day, I had to borrow a suit. I had to make up business cards for myself because I had none, and I sold a $140,000 order. And then, of course, I knew I was going to get fired by my customer service manager, so I made an appointment with the president of the company and gave him the order. But that really launched me into a career in sales that had I not been willing to play a little bit outside of the space and the structure that was given to me, I would never experience.
Terrific. Deborah Rosado Shaw, thank you so much for being here. And we'll tell you how to reach Deborah Rosado Shaw when we return. Dream big, soñar grande, right after this. Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
America's most lauded small business TV show, Making It.